What's going on, guys? It's your boy Ethos back at it again with another tutorial or just video. Okay, this time I'm going to be talking about 10 easily fixable mistakes that you guys are still doing that are losing you guys rounds and games. Let's get right into the video.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Ethos here. Just wanted to say all these clips are taken from my stream. I stream every day at twitch.tv/ethos, and if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell, and join my Discord server down below. Enjoy the video.
The very first tip is to, whenever you're retaking a site and you're playing smokes, make sure to prioritize smoking the bomb over smoking the chokes. Okay, I'll show you exactly what I mean by this, because obviously for like the actual retake itself, if there's still enemies here, here, and here, and you need to just get onto the site, obviously like you still need to like smoke short, for example, right? Just to kind of deny them the options of being able to like swing off this contact or whatever, right? And then you smoke it, then you blind through, whatever, right? You guys go through, you guys take the site, whatever, right? And you clear sight, and now there's 20 seconds left on the bomb, and the enemy team is now playing post plant util, where they're playing to delay the bomb, the defuse, and doing whatever, right? Maybe they want to spam it, okay? Just like they want to jiggle you off the bomb, blah blah, right? In these cases, when you have site control and now all that's left is to defuse the bomb, and the enemies are just off, they're either like playing long or short, they're trying to like jiggle you, get you off the bomb, or they're playing shocks or mollies, make sure to prioritize smoking the bomb over smoking the chokes, because smoking the chokes, it allows them to have a lot more counterplay options, right? You smoke long like this, they can do things like they can easily spam this a lot easier without being seen at all. And the only way your teammates can see them is if they actually run through the smoke, which they could also potentially get spammed by while that happens. Or maybe they flash through the smoke when you guys tap, or they throw a molly or a shocks, right? Basically, it just gives the enemy team more options to play around if you smoke the choke and you're trying to tap the bomb. If you smoke the bomb itself, it denies a lot of info for them, and you can tap it, right? You can play around it. There's a lot more space, and it's a lot scarier for them, right? Because if they come out here now, they want to spam like this, right? They can get peeked by your teammate from like right here, who just swings when they start spamming. For example, assuming you only had like one smoke, right? And you smoke like short. Imagine the enemy has like there's a guy in short, right? And this guy's like waiting to like make a play or throw a molly or something, right? And you tap the bomb, but then the long guy can jiggle and can see that they're off, and then they'll call off, which now just takes off all the pressure of the tap in the first place, and now there's no pressure to go make a move for them to waste their util, to flash through, or make any noise at all. So that's why I always say in retake situations where you actually want to play around the bomb and you guys have the bomb control, just always smoke the bomb right away and just tap it right away, okay? Because this just puts a lot of pressure, and it puts the enemy team in a position where they have to be using their util, or they have to either push the smoke, which is obviously disadvantageous for them. And that's really the only way they can verify if you're on the bomb or not. And again, I also want to reiterate, do not throw this site smoke here, this bomb smoke, until you guys are actually on the site. If you guys throw this during the actual retake itself, this might actually help the enemy team, because they can just play in the smoke and then flash out and swing through as you guys are trying to come out. So it's only when you actually retake the map control of the site itself, and are now your job is to just try and get the bomb defused, and the enemy is just trying to stop you from doing that. My next tip is still as a controller, is to, if you're getting exec on, throw a site smoke to hold the site, and if your teammates are getting exec, throw a site smoke for them, right? Because it allows them to stay alive for a lot longer. It gives them some more options and some more breathing room to play around, okay? If they're 5-man rushing C, don't just throw this smoke like normal, right? If they're execing, right? Especially if they're already out, because this won't do much, because they're just gonna flash through, dart out, right? They're just gonna be running through the smoke anyways, right? They're just gonna disrespect the smoke, just gonna run through that and just flash through, and it's not gonna matter. But if instead of throwing this smoke, you throw a smoke like this, like that, now there's something that they have to be very worried about. Now it's a lot harder for them. It makes the site a lot more claustrophobic for them, and it's going to take more util, more time for them to be able to clear this site and get this control. And it's also going to give you some more cover to play around and stay alive for longer, right? So like if a dart comes through, you can break it, walk in the smoke, walk back out. Flashes come through, walk in the smoke, walk back out. You can time around it, you can cross the back site. There's a lot more options, and what's scary is that for the enemy team is they have no idea what's going on with the smoke. You could be here, or in the smoke, or whatever, right? Or there could be nothing there, you know? But still, regardless, they have to respect this site smoke. So please, 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 if you're trying to hold a site, throw a site smoke for either yourself or your teammates. It's gonna help you hold the site for a little bit longer and help you win more rounds. And it's a really easy thing to fix. My third tip is to stop wasting your util. So here, for example, you see a lot of Sovas do this right away, and like, you know, and I'll do this too, but not every round. A lot of sovas will just dart along every single round at the start of the round, right? It gets to a point where it starts to get insta broken, and you need to just start like kind of, you know, switching it up and whatnot, and that's fine, right? But the biggest thing is if it's just constantly getting broken anyways, right? You can offer something like this, unless they're smoking cross every round. You can just offer something like this and just hold like a pixel tight angle like this. And also like just think about when to use your darts. I see a lot of sovas or whatever, just or skies or KOs or whatever, just burning their util for no reason, right? And a good trick to try to maximize the value out of your util is to think about, okay, do we need this info right now? Do we need this info? Do we need to rotate off this info? What info have we already seen? Because a lot of times if they're smoking the cross flashing out, right, then you don't even need to throw this dart. If they're smoking this every round anyways, and like you don't even need to throw the dart because they're gonna break it. You already know that there's gonna be at least one person there. You already have some info, okay? So there's no reason to throw that dart and we'll have to wait 40 seconds for the next dart, because the dart's really powerful. Think about, do we need this info right now? And also, what's gonna happen off the info of this util, right? Is someone gonna rotate off it if we see someone, if we don't see someone? Does the scan, does it help us get map control? Is this something we need right now? Just think about, what is this doing for me and my teammates? Is anyone actually gonna be able to capitalize off this info, off this util? And the way I mean capitalize is either someone pushes up with it if it doesn't scan, takes that map control, or we rotate off if it doesn't scan, right? That kind of stuff. You gotta just think about what kind of impact is actually gonna have on your teammates' positioning and what kind of value does it actually provide for you if you were to throw this piece of util right now. Tip number 4 is to don't watch the same thing, right? So if you have 2 teammates, right, like this, there's only so many things to watch, right? If you're both just watching the same thing, like you're watching front B from here, but your teammate's also watching front B from here, right? Someone else could go be watching something else, right? Like especially on a map like Haven where there's 5 lanes, like someone could go play off a trip or play off contact or sit up and get onto a site, right? But if you're just constantly watching the same thing, you're just wasting a body at that point. And also, when I say don't watch the same thing, I also mean don't watch the same thing as util as well. If there's a trip here or a turret here, don't watch it. You don't need to watch it. Obviously, like there's like times, right, where like you can like just double post on an angle if it's a 2v1, right? That's totally fine. That's not what I mean. That's not what I mean. If someone needs to watch Heaven and somebody should watch Spawn, one person is calling, I'm watching Spawn, the other guy's saying like, okay, I'm watching Heaven, right? Like you have to be calming this out. If you guys are watching the same thing, you guys are being inefficient with your bodies and your angles, okay? So be aware of what's covered, what holes there are, and what you need to cover. Always be aware of your minimap, what your teammates are saying, and covering like automatically. It's just like shuffling, like in soccer. You just immediately just fill whatever hole, whatever gap that there is. Just be aware of that, okay? Another big tip, when you're taking a site, I see a lot of people like, okay, we got on site, oh, I'm just gonna just run up and plant right away. No. Like, no, okay? Don't plant the bomb right away. You don't have to, okay? Stop getting into your head like, oh, we need to get the bomb down right now. Obviously, unless time is running low. Your goal in a round as a offender, as an attacker, is not to get the bomb down and plant the bomb. Your goal is to win the round, right? Like, for example, if you were to come up long and just come up here and you just always run in and start planting the bomb, you're now one person that's taken out of the equation. You can't fight anymore. You can't trade anymore. You can't be a part of the fight. And right now, if you're lacking map control and like short, for example, or you haven't fully cleared hell or cleared back sight, there's no reason you should be planning. You need to get the map control you need, okay? Planning is not the priority here. Winning the round is, okay? So stop just running up and just start planting the bomb. Make sure like, oh, if short's unclear, okay, screw the bomb. You and your teammate like, all right, guys, let's go clear short. Like you and your teammate go down here, right? Versus like if you were like, okay, short's not clear, your teammate goes and clears his solo. You're planting the bomb. Your teammate goes swings, loses the 1v1. He dies. There's no trade because you weren't with him and you were trying to plant the bomb and you're just scared now, right? Planting the bomb is not the priority. There's no need to rush it. Just make sure you guys take all the map control that you need first. There's always like requirements and steps to it. For example, if I go on VALORANT here, right, for example, like on bind, right, like don't start playing the bomb unless you have U-Haul control, or if you know that there's no one like towards showers area or bench that's like gonna potentially swing on you and kill you. You know, make sure that you guys aren't trying to force it. Same things, like don't start playing the bomb if you know that there's like guys backside, or if you know there's a guy like coming out elbow about to make a counter play, or if you know that hookah's not clear yet. Like don't worry about playing the bomb yet. Just make sure that you are taking all the map control you need first, and then you can plant the bomb after. It's totally fine, but it'll literally lose you rounds if you get too eager and try to plant the bomb too quickly. Maybe there's a trade that could have went your way if you had your gun up and you were with your teammates. Tip number 6 is to stop playing lineups right away. I see this a lot in a lot of different ranks. You know, it definitely becomes lesser on as you get in the higher ranks, but I still see a lot of people make this mistake, is that people start playing their lineups before the bomb is even down, right? There's a reason why it's called post plant. You can't get in the post plant before the plant even happens. The post plant comes after the plant, and the plant comes after you take the site. There's this order to these things. You take all the map control you need first. Number one, you have full site control, everything you need to make sure the bomb gets down. You have that. Then you plant the bomb, and then you can think about playing post plant situations. All right, you can't just assume like, oh, my teammates are gonna get the bomb down, blah blah, before you fulfilled all the requirements. Because hey, guess what? Like, let's say it's a 3v3, right? And like your two teammates go on a site and they start playing the bomb. Like, oh, okay, well, you guys got that. The bomb's not even down yet, so I'm just gonna start running back to go play my shock dart lineups, right? And it's at this moment, right, as there's just two on site, that all three of the enemies flood out with a flash. This gets smoked and run out and kill your teammates, and boom, now you're in a post plant position and the bomb's not even down yet. So like, why are you there? Okay, so make sure to not get in your post plant positions until the bomb is actually down. All right, tip number 7 is to always check your spacing. Okay, right, this is a big difference that I see even in ranked versus like, you probably encountered a Jet that's like kind of been like upset, like, why weren't you guys with me, blah blah blah. But like, that's up to you, Jet, that's up to you. And like, and it's also up to everyone really to be like, hey guys, spacing's bad, blah blah blah. There should be like a switch, right? Like a 3-2-1 switch. We hit the exec, everyone's going out, all the utils going in, people are going out, the trades are coming in, everyone should be close together, ready to trade. It shouldn't be like, oh, Jet dashes in and then the dart comes in and then the flash comes in and then the second guy comes in and then fights and dies, and the third guy comes in and then fights and dies, and the fourth. No, it's not a conga line. All right, it should just be like the immediate explosion, right? Just checking your spacing and just calming, hey guys, we have bad spacing, can be the huge difference between having really explosive power on an exec or just having it be really lazy and really sloppy. All right, so just saying check your spacing and being aware that like, okay, I should wait to dash when my teammates are closer and the spacing's better and then the dart's ready to actually go out and initiate the exec. Because when you do that, if you dash out and your teammates are immediately following up and then darts immediately following up and the flash is coming through, then that's what makes it a lot more explosive, a lot more powerful, and a lot harder to deal with as a defender. The problem I see even in Radiant lobbies and everything, and even sometimes in matches, is overheating, right? And it's this idea of like, oh, like, should I push or not? Just because you're Reyna or whatever, right? Should I actually go for more, right? And it's mainly about risk assessment, is valuing like kind of the economic value of this play. Like how worth it is it? Like, it's risk versus reward, right? Obviously, if it's like a 3v5, right? You guys need to get some kills on the board. Yeah, you guys got to push. You know when to push, of course, absolutely know when to push, right? Or they have a killjoy out or something, they have some sort of win con, and like the only win con for you is to push, to actually play, and you guys have to go make an aggressive play, a hero play rather, right? Be aware of that, but also understand that like, if you have numbers, if it's a 4v3 or a 3v2 or something and you decide to push, that is very, very bad. You guys should be able to just win the round just playing normally, but if you push, you're giving the enemy team basically a huge opportunity to win the round, which is gonna just overall lose you more rounds than win you them at that point. So every time you decide you want to push in a post plan or whatever, right, think about like, do we need this right now or do we not? Do we have numbers? Do we not have numbers? Do we need to get numbers? Do they have ults? Is this an important thing to push for? Like, think about the actual reward of making this play and think about the risk of what happens if it fails, right? Think about the reward of how, if it succeeds, think about the risk if it fails. All right, and you got to compare those two in your head every single time. Similar to that, as a defender, right, or even an offender, right, it's important to know like, should I stay alive? For example, on Ascent, for example, you'll see me often like, I'll go for shock dart damage and spams or whatever, right? But almost 9 times out of 10, and this is how like Crashes plays, for example, is I won't take my fights up here unless I have like 2 other teammates here and they're doing a flash play or whatever, right? I will often just fall backside or fall to spawn and then just play to stay alive and play for the retake. Staying alive back here, and they're just staying back here and just not peeking. The longer you stay alive, the more of a nuisance you become, the more pressure you apply to the enemy team to make them push you, and it gives them a lot less breathing room, and they have to be worried about now this. And they have to be worried about your teammates running out here and your teammates running out of here, right? But if you die here, then they can just immediately just turtle up backside, and they don't have to, they can just hard focus in this one direction, right? They just have to hard focus in this one direction. But if you're still alive and backside, then they have to worry about this direction as well. So they have to worry about both directions, and that's why there's so much pressure being applied just by staying alive. Same thing as like, if you're a killjoy or whatever, instead of like, you know, just going for fights or whatever, if you throw smoke down here and like you're just a side anchor and you just stay alive in this smoke for as long as possible for your jet, jet, just throw smokes in your body, or you just stay alive as long as you can in hell or in heaven or something. Just stay alive as long as possible, and you just provide a lot more impact than if you were to go for one kill and get a kill and die. Going 1 for 1 there is not good, because if you go 1 for 1, and this I guess is another like bonus tip, right? Saying like, oh, I got mine as a defender is awful, because not only do you guys have a trade, like yes, you guys traded util and kills or whatever, right? Like you guys trade, it's a 4v4 now, right? But you know what you lost and the other team gained was they gained map control, because you're a defender, you're trying to hold this part of the map. You died, now they get free map control towards wherever you were standing, and now your teammates lose that part of the map. So in terms of the game of just map control, it is very, very bad to go 1 for 1. Okay, so make sure that no one to stay alive, no one that you should be fighting. And also in the reverse, right? Like if like my teammates are all fighting, they're all trying to flood through and fight here, I'm gonna stop hiding here, right? I'm gonna swing when my teammates are all fighting. I don't want to be fighting by myself. When my teammates decided that we should take the fight now, we got to take the fight now. I'm gonna stop hiding. I'm gonna stop worrying about staying alive. This is when the round is gonna get decided right here, right now. I don't want to be left in the clutch. It's just gonna get decided right here, and I'm gonna fight the enemies as they fight my teammates and vice versa, right? So there you go. And now the final tip I have is flanking too fast. Okay, now here's one example, right? Let's say the enemies, they take A, right? They have A side, your teammates are playing retake, right? You got 2 up here, you got 2 up here, right? Or 2 over here, and you're now on like the long flank. Somehow you guys smoked the trip or whatever, and now you're flanking, right? And then you just immediately, like before your teams even start retaking, you're just pushing up. You probably just died. Like if you flank a lot and you just die because there's someone holding it, then it's probably because you're going a little bit too fast. Now in a situation like this, more times than not, it's important for you to really time your flank, your lurk, with your teammates off their contact. The second that your teammates start making contact and they start retaking the site and they start applying so much pressure that anyone who would have been watching the flank feels pressure to go back and help their teammates here, that's when you should be going up and applying this lurk here, right? Obviously it's very, very situational, right? If you catch like a crazy time, you can tell your teammates to chill, but more oftentimes than not, if you're dying on the flank a lot, it's probably because you're going a little bit too fast, and you should be letting your other teammates take contact first, because in this situation, if you have a sick lurk, the sick lurk can be the win condition. Okay, you can kill the molly guys, you can flank them, you can basically deny all this map control, and now that's a lot less space for them to be able to play post plant from. So being able to do that is very, very important to do correctly. And you know, a lot of times, like, you know, no, don't feel too rushed. There's a lot more time on the spike than you think, more times than not. Okay, don't feel too rushed. A lot of times you have a lot more time than you think. Anyways, guys, that about does it for all the tips I have. Those are the 10, or I guess technically 11 because I added another one in there, but those are the 10 tips I have to stop making these crucial, fatal mistakes that are losing you rounds and ultimately game. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you guys think about these types of videos. If you guys like them, make sure to let me know, and you know, I can keep doing more of these if you find it informative. If you thought it was useless, then maybe I won't do it as much, but hey, either way, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you all very much, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out, everyone.